Hi, everybody. My name is Kayla Reynolds. Unfortunately, we did have some technical difficulties, so I will not be able to share with you guys the PowerPoint, the amazing PowerPoint that I had prepared for you guys. But I will go over a little bit about myself and also a little bit about what I wanted to speak about today. Again, my name is Kayla Reynolds, and I work on the Cox Automotive Economic and Industry Insights team. For those of you who are not familiar with Cox Automotive, we are a conglomerate of smaller automotive businesses that are automotive dealer, industry, and consumer facing, with our most well known companies being the consumer facing Kelly Blue Book and Auto Trader. On the economic and industry insights team, we work with large data sets, and pure data scientists on our team to supply internal and external decision makers with data driven insights to make industry and company wide decisions. A little bit about myself. I received my bachelor's from Middle Tennessee State University in marketing, and I also received my master's from Southern Illinois University in marketing research with a focus in data analytics. I really like to share my educational background because I do understand there's kind of a middle ground between people who are more business oriented, but also have that analytical skills that they do have. I feel like it's a perfect representation of how somebody with an analytical skill set can also find themselves in a business oriented role, but hone in on their skills to allow for a new view of data and for the future of the industry. So, today I wanted to discuss my place as a data professional on the business side of the industry and one of the largest trends within the automotive market today, which is the electric vehicle market. What myself and my team are challenged with is providing data insights that questions and either provides or denies the perceptions of the overall market and industry. Through our projects, we have found how important it is to have a clear and translatable insights in order to drive informative decisions, along with presenting those insights in a digestible way. So, to begin with, I want to review some misconceptions that my team was presented with internally and externally. Then I was going to show, but I can also address that. I was going to show how we present that data through insights and challenge those misconceptions regarding the electric vehicle market. So one of those misconceptions is that pure electric vehicles are more dominant in the industry than hybrids. So for that misconception, when many people, including experts, think about the electric vehicle market, the understanding is that it is a purely battery powered market. And when the true story is that hybrids have been a dominating force with more than half of market share, with having more than double EV market share in hybrids for at least the past 5 years. So if you were looking at a presentation right now, it would show that even in 2020, the hybrid market share of the overall market is at about 4.4%, with the EV market share being a little over 2%. So when you see that, you see that the hybrid share is more than double what the EV is. And then secondly, we were going to take a look at some insights from the Kelly Blue Book Quarterly Brand Watch Study that surveys consumers regarding their purchase consideration of models and brands, along with factors that contribute towards their consideration. And what you were going to be able to see is the top considered electrified models and how those top 10 considered electrified models and how a majority of those were actually hybrids within the market. And those hybrids were a majority leaning towards the Toyota OEM brand, which we will speak about later. They do have a strategy to bridge the combustion engine and the pure EV gap with hybrids. And then we were also going to look at the purchase consideration that consumers were sharing with us and how when we segment that by types of vehicles, excluding that, so having that being all electrified vehicles compared to cars, compared to light trucks, and also compared to minivans, when you look at that on a graph, you will see that tremendously EV vehicles do weigh on the lower end regarding consideration. And within our secondary research, we find that to be on the consumer end to be concerns like battery life insecurity and also overall speculation. So, with those two insights that I did share, we have been able to pull data and denounce that pure EVs are not yet the placeholder in the electric vehicle market. This insight can definitely can drive business decisions for corporate professionals regarding where to go next within the market, along with dealers and how to supply their inventory. So, with the second misconception, it's definitely that pure electric vehicles are more dominant in the industry, and also that electric vehicles will take over in the next 5 years in the industry as a whole. So when we do look at electric vehicles as a whole within the industry and how we do see a lot of headlines in media and we do see a lot of headlines across the internet and also across the news that, EVs are the future. Where we do find that EVs will be the future, we see that EVs will stay prominent, but through forecasting and through data, the approximate share of EVs within the market by 2025 is only at 9% for new vehicles, increasing that threshold of 1 million volume threshold, but not quite reaching the levels of pure domination, as we say. As executives, specifically within the strategy realm, make decisions based on how the market will grow, that's the perfect time as an analytical thinker to step in with insights to drive those business decisions. So, with the third misconception within the market, and we can't necessarily call this a misconception yet, but we can give context to the perception as in itself, that EVs are more affordable compared to ICE or combustion engine vehicles. Where we have not gotten as far as calculating where the upfront cost of a pure EV that is above the industry average transaction price, where we're seeing that EVs are more expensive than what a combustion engine vehicle would be, the price tag wise up front, and also where we are able to compare where the savings is on gas compared to how much you would have to pay for a combustion engine that would be lower costing, but you would be spending that additional money in gas. We're not able to get to that even point yet, but we can share and we can evaluate the share of adult consumers who do purchase EVs. So in 2019 and 2020, the consumers that were purchasing those EVs skewed largely on the higher income range, whereas the income share of our country is the opposite. So if you were to look at the graph, those consumers that were purchasing those EVs were at the 150,000 household income range or above, whereas a majority of the consumers within our nation are actually ranging from about $60,000, which is the average household income, to below. So where we can definitely not debunk the perception that EVs are not affordable, we are able to give context to our decision makers and clients. Y'all, I'm really trying to put this all into my 10-minute span, so I'm trying to go as fast as possible. I'm sorry. Lastly, is the thought that the electrified market will be a single OEM market, and we can say it. At one point, I think we all thought that Tesla would take over. And when we look over the next few years, we see that OEMs are definitely adjusting their strategies because they want a piece of that pie and do not want to be obsolete within the automotive market. Like I said previously, many manufacturers are adopting strategies to release some type of electrified model to keep themselves in the game, if not the next 5 years, but at least the next decade. And as a data professional, research is our friend. And our Cox Automotive 2021 prediction study reiterated all the data that we have been able to collect industry wide by surveying dealers and consumers that support our challenge for the misconception that that the EV market will be a single OEM market. We see that a majority of the dealers and consumers believe that a new EV startup will come on the scene and rival Tesla, along with them also believing that an existing OEM is selling more EVs in 2021 than Tesla. So I've gotten through those misconceptions, but I also want the basis of this to be that even as a data centered and a data analytic professional, we are able to hone in on those skills and we are able to translate those skills to those business professionals and to the executives and the decision maker. So I hope I really did share an informative way of how to meet your analytical and business side halfway and create data driven insights for executives and business makers within the industry and to challenge those concepts. Because I will always think that, with the background and having a background that is more honing in on all of those skills that are needed in a business aspect, it allows for us to look at things differently than maybe somebody who was purely business or maybe purely analytical. It allows for us to meet the business halfway and give those insights that decision makers need in order to make those decisions. So I will give you guys your 2 minutes back, but my email, if you would like to reach out to me, please do not hesitate to ask any questions, is Kayla, Kayla, Reynolds, Reynolds, at coxautoinc.com. Thank you guys. I hope you guys do have a great day. Oh, wait, I do have some questions. Mercedes-Benz scrapped their EV program. Yes, we have seen that a lot of OEMs have over-expected what they thought that the EV program was going to be, and how easily they thought that the EVs were going to be. And of course, in the current market, regarding inventory and regarding last year and the pandemic and COVID-19 that's continuing, we are seeing that a lot of these OEMs were making decisions to stay upon trends and not necessarily trying to make decisions based on data. So when we see that, yeah, we're able to call that out as data and business professionals and being like-minded in that sense. So I guess, yeah, it is a minute, but please feel free to reach out to me and connect with me on LinkedIn, Kayla Reynolds, and please feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. Thank you guys.